Hi everyone, Brady Joker here, and welcome to another movie review. Well, another double movie review, because today I'm going to be reviewing both Kill Bill movies. Just a disclaimer, I'm not going to be ranking Tarantino anytime soon. I'm almost done with all of his movies. I have 2 more left, but he has this final movie coming out in only a year. So I'm like, why would I rank him now if I'm just going to watch his final movie in a year and then I can rank him and have his whole complete filmography ranked? Doesn't that sound lovely? However, by the end of the year, I want PTA ranked and Fincher ranked. Try to expect those two. I really want to do Scorsese, but man, he has a lot of movies. Anyways, yeah, Kill Bill. Kill Bill was Tarantino's 4th and 5th movies, and today I'm going to be reviewing both of them. So yeah, let's just get rolling in with Kill Bill 1.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Alright, so Kill Bill Volume 1. Now this is just a little... I do hate to be the bearer of bad news here, but I'm personally not that much of a fan of Tarantino. Don't get me wrong, I think he has a couple exceptional movies. Phenomenal. But key word there, I said a couple. I'm not going to tell you which ones, that'll spoil my ranking in a year. But a lot of his movies are just kind of good, in my opinion. And I only have 2 left, so I mean, I'm not really high hopes, because they're usually considered some of his worst films as well. Anyways, starting with Kill Bill, I think this movie is good. I do have a couple pretty big issues with it, but let's start with the good stuff. For starters, the acting, performances, and action sequences in this movie are incredible. I wouldn't necessarily say the action is amazing, but the choreography and the cinematography during the action sequences is incredible. Particularly, there's this one scene where she's kicking some booty, and it's like she's silhouetted, everyone's silhouetted, and it's just a bright blue background, and it is stunning. Easily a highlight. The highlight scene for me, in my opinion. It took my breath away. Kill Bill, like, it was set up in the first scene as this kind of dark and gritty sort of action movie, and I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't really know a lot about this little, 2 movies, but I knew they were supposed to be action movies. I didn't know how cheesy they were going to be. There's just so many scenes where it's like, how in the world does that even happen? It felt fake. And that is the last thing that I want to be thinking while watching an action movie that sets itself up to be taken seriously, but then it just doesn't. Especially with the subject matter of this movie. This movie has a really dark, plot. The subject material is really dark. The way that, what Bill did to the bride is actually disgusting. And yet, the movie is really cheesy, and I feel like it just doesn't take itself seriously. And I don't like it. And that was really my main issue with both of these movies. You're going to hear me say the exact same thing about Kill Bill 2. I just don't feel like these movies took themselves as seriously as I wanted. Now, of course, like I said, there are great moments in both of these movies. Like in this one, the first fight scene between Uma Thurman and, I don't know her name, was incredibly well done. I loved that scene. I also really liked the comic book scenes. They were awesome. They looked visually amazing, and it really did give you necessary backstory that didn't really drag. And that's something else. I never felt this movie dragged like the second one does, which we'll be getting into. But yeah, this movie never really dragged for me. Like I said, I just felt like it was too cheesy for me. Way too cheesy. I still had a good time with it. I still like this movie. I do have my flaws with it. So yeah, I'm feeling like a strong 6 to a light 7 on Kill Bill Volume 1. Tran.
I mean, it's alright, like, overrated as fuck in my opinion. I mean,
Zishin. And now we're going to be taking a look at Kill Bill Volume 2. Kill Bill Volume 2 kind of falls into the same place as Kill Bill 1, in my opinion, in terms of my criticisms go. It doesn't take itself seriously, and yet I feel like it's a lot darker than the first one as well. The characters feel a lot more gritty and dark in this one than they do in the first, especially Bud. Bud is played amazingly by the guy in Reservoir Dogs, Mr. Blonde, and he's just honestly a really eerie presence watching him dominate the bride on screen. In case you haven't seen it, I'm not going to say her name, because the movie kind of like bleeps her name out for some reason. But yeah, whatever. And so yeah, I loved watching Bud. I liked Bud as a character. I also really liked Elle. However, I feel like she was very underused in both movies. I feel like she just could have been so much more. And yet, I feel like she has like 5 minutes of screen time, 5 or 10 minutes of screen time in the first one, and maybe 20 minutes in the second one. So I feel like she was heavily underused, but her character seems really cool. But something that this movie absolutely sucks at is its pacing. This movie is just over 2 hours, but it felt like 2.5. That's not good. There's just way too many talking and dialogue scenes, and I know that's what Tarantino is known for, but when you're making an action movie, sometimes you want to cut the dialogue a little bit shorter. Or at least make the conversations happening engaging, which this movie just didn't do for me. Now, I do think this movie is decent. It has probably better moments in this one than it did in the first. There's more moments in this movie that I can point out and be like, this was great compared to the stuff in the first. For example, the last 30 minutes of this movie, I'll tell you, they were incredible. The last 30 minutes, without these last 30 minutes, I probably would have like given this like a 2, 2.5. But the last 30 minutes really took me by storm. I loved the last 30 minutes, and that's because of Bill. Bill is one of my biggest praises with this movie compared to the first. They set up the first one, they set Bill up perfectly in the first one, where they don't show his face. You don't really know a lot about Bill. You didn't know his motives. You didn't know who he was. You didn't even know what he looked like. And then in this movie, they reveal him, and he's out in the open. And you get crazy twists in that final 30 minutes, and it is incredible. I also loved the bride's backstory with Paime, that's his name, Paime. Her backstory with him was really funny. Like, even though it was really cheesy, but that was one of the more enjoyable cheesy scenes for me. Paime was just such an enjoyable character that I knew wasn't supposed to be serious. So I was like, okay, he's supposed to be this kind of, not so serious character. The way he acts, he's like stroking his beard all the time. He delivers some great quips, and it's a fun scene. I did really love the backstory there. But there's the thing. I don't think we needed the backstory. I really don't. I don't think we needed it. Case in point. But yeah, the action's just as good as it is in the first. I have no real other praises to give this movie. The performances are all great. It's just a fine movie that I just think both of these are pretty overrated. I'm feeling a strong 5 to a light 6 on this one. Transition. Have you guys seen the Kill Bill movies? If so, what did you think about them? Tell me down in the comments below. What other movies do you want me to review? I've seen many. Go follow me on Letterboxd. That's where you can see my movie reviews and ratings and all of that sorts. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe if you want. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.